So this fragrance here is called Cuir Infrarouge. I think that's French for infrared queer. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's infrared leather. This is by Maison Crivelli. I'm going to do a blind unboxing. I don't know what this smells like yet, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents on Cuir Infrarouge by Maison Crivelli. Stick around. Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is my 2 cents. My name is Sean. If you have been here before, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome. Before we get started, I want to say if you're not already subscribing, please hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the important things I have to say about fragrances or about life in general. That said, if you're already subscribed, thanks for coming back. So I don't know that much about the house Maison Crivelli. I know a lot of the fragrances. I've definitely gone into the stores before. I've definitely smelled them. I know a couple of the most popular ones in the lineup. Think Patchouli Magnétique or Hibiscus Mahajad, but I didn't actually ever just go for it and buy one. This is the newest release. It is called Cuir Infrarouge. It is a 2025 release. I just happened to go into Saks. I went to go see Etta working at Saks. Hi Etta, if you're watching this. And this was the newest one. It wasn't officially released yet, but they were still selling the fragrance. So this house was founded by Thibaut Crivelli, and he's sort of fueled by building fragrances that are actually around lived experiences, not just around the ingredient. Think of each one of these fragrances as sort of a cinematic snapshot. He has a very, very nicely curated Instagram for his own personal Instagram, not for the brand Instagram. He goes on vacation, he takes snapshots. There are pictures of the small moments, like the small sand particles or the notes that he's going to use for his next fragrances. So that said, each one is sort of designed with that in mind, and it feels like you're sort of stepping into a specific scene. So I did a little bit of internet research to find out what the concept is behind this fragrance. Crivelli says that he was inspired by a raspberry cocktail while attending an electronic music festival. Think of a night of electric music, neon lights, colorful flashes, and that raspberry cocktail in his hand as he's sipping it, just taking it all in. There's supposed to be a leather note in this, so think of the contrast between dark leather and neon lights, all while sipping a raspberry cocktail. As I've said, there are other fragrances in this lineup that I really like, and there are other fragrances that just don't do it for me. I know Patchouli Magnétique is extremely, extremely popular. I know people love that fragrance, and it's one of the biggest punches in the nose that you'll get from any fragrance. It is super, super strong. That said, it's too much patchouli for me. I don't love it. All right, that said, I've never smelled this fragrance, so I'm going to go ahead and unbox it. I don't have any other fragrance from this lineup, so I'm going to show you the boxing and how it's packaged. I'm seeing it for the first time, just as you're seeing it for the first time. It's sort of like opening up a Labubu. You don't know what you're getting. All right, so here's the box. It has a slipcase over it, and the name of the fragrance is on the front. All the necessary information that you need to know is on the back. Gray box inside with the MC for Maison Crivelli's logo. Nicely packaged. There is a card on the front that has the name of the fragrance, and it's packaged just in here like that. It sits cradled inside the box. Not too much fanfare. All right, so there it is. Cuir Infrarouge. It's in that typical Crivelli orange bottle. If you're a fan of niche fragrances, you've definitely seen these fragrances in the store. All right, so before we get to spraying this, let's look at the notes as they're listed on Fragrantica. Fragrantica lists in the top raspberry, bergamot, and cinnamon. In the heart, you've got iris resin, suede leather accord, cedarwood. In the base, you've got tonka bean, vanilla, CO2, oud, amber, woods, and resins. These fragrances in the Crivelli lineup in the orange bottle are extrait de parfum. It lists that it has about 32% oil inside, so it is going to be super strong. I remember putting on Patchouli Magnétique and Oud Maracuja, and I could not get the fragrances off of me. They will last forever. So for the price, it is definitely worth it because this fragrance is going to last for a long time. I'm assuming it's much the same with this one. All right, so let's spray it for the first time. Let's see what the atomizer looks like. Right out of the gate, you get definitely the raspberry. So as I said in the opening, Crivelli was remembering a raspberry drink at a music festival. It's a very bright raspberry. It's not dark. It's juicy, it feels sharp, it feels alive, it doesn't feel like something that's too syrupy. There's sort of a spice in there. I guess that's maybe the cinnamon. It's pairing well with the raspberry in the front. The leather sort of steps in fast It's not a dark leather. This is very smooth. It's like a suede, and I know that's what it said in the accord. It was a suede leather note. So at the beginning, the leather sort of seems to take a back seat to the fruity accord in the top. You got that raspberry that is front and center, but it's not an overwhelmingly fruity and syrupy raspberry. The more this dries down, the leather definitely starts to come out. There's an iris resin note. It sort of gives it almost a powdery note. There's a sort of smoothness that's added to it. Yeah, it works. I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of. You can sort of tell if you know anything about this house, it definitely has that Crivelli DNA. There's something that Crivelli uses in each one of the fragrances that gives it sort of that smell that you know you're smelling something from his lineup. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but this one definitely has it. The patchouli one has it. The hibiscus one has it. But I don't know specifically what it is. It's almost a synthetic note that they're using deliberately in this, but I can't put my finger on it. If you know what it is, definitely leave me a comment. But this I really like. It's always terrifying to blind buy something because you don't know if you're going to love it, you don't know if you're going to hate it. Is this going to be something that I would actually wear? Is this going to be something that I'm only using for content? But this definitely feels like something I would wear. But I got to think of where I would wear this. As it continues to dry down, there's sort of a sweetness. Maybe it's the vanilla in the base notes, tonka, but there's also a patchouli here, but it's not the strong patchouli that you get in Patchouli Magnétique. It is sort of just a soft patchouli that's balancing out the leather note. I feel like everything here is balancing out that leather note in the center. I smell the leather, the suede leather right now. It's not very strong, it's not very dark, it's not very dusty, it's very smooth. You got the raspberry, you've got fruit, you've got spice with the cinnamon, you've got vanilla, you got the tonka bean sort of to sweeten it up. There's a little bit of everything in here. So with any of the extrait perfumes in the orange bottles by Crivelli and green bottles, I guess, Saffron Secrets in a green bottle, as with any of these extraits with Crivelli, the sillage and the projection are going to be monstrous. I think if you look on Fragrantica, they've got it listed as long-lasting and eternal. These things are very, very, very difficult to get off your body, even when you want them to come off. It's going to have an extremely strong projection in the first few hours. I just sprayed it twice, and I can smell it way away from me. It is very, very, very strong. I can't really speak to the sillage myself because I haven't had anybody around me while I've been wearing it. I don't know anybody that owns this fragrance yet, but I can imagine that it's going to be very, very, very strong. Back to when I would wear this. I hate saying that something is either a day or an evening fragrance, but this is definitely giving me evening vibes. That said, I wouldn't exclusively wear it in the evening. I like to stand out. I like to do something that a lot of other people aren't going to do. But I think the general masses of people are probably going to consider this an evening fragrance. And if you think of the story behind it, and he's thinking he's sitting in a nightclub, he's sipping a drink, he's sipping a cocktail, that's probably more along the lines of what he was going for with this fragrance. It's a very strong fragrance, so that tends to make me think that it would be a good fall fragrance, winter fragrance. It's spicy, it's leathery, so it would definitely work well in the fall and the winter. These fragrances are super strong. Anything super strong, I hesitate to say whether that would be good in hot weather. So I would have to test this out in the summertime. It's still a little bit warm in New York. I'll wear it around the next couple of weeks and I'll see what I think about it. Yeah, this isn't necessarily going to be an office scent for everyone. I would wear it to the office, but unless you work at Studio 54, this is going to make you definitely stand out. This is a fragrance for a man, it's for a woman. This is definitely a unisex fragrance. It's not going to be for you if you like an animalic leather fragrance. So if you read the name and you know it, that queer means leather, and you're expecting a very leathery animalic fragrance, that's not what you get here. It starts out with a very smooth suede-like leather, and then it's just enhanced by all those other notes. If you like sort of a playful, fruity fragrance that's enhanced or just darkened a little bit by leather, this is a good fragrance for you. This for me is not a traditional leather fragrance. It's definitely got sort of a liveliness to it. There's a vibrancy to it. If you think about a nightclub, it feels like it's sort of pulsating. The scent pulsates. It's sort of giving you that vibe. I don't know whether my mind is doing that because that's what I know he was going for, but you can definitely see the story that this fragrance is trying to tell. All right, it's time for me to give you my 2 cents on Cuir Infrarouge by Maison Crivelli. So the vibe here we were going for was suede leather with raspberry lit up by neon lights. Was it successful? It definitely smells like nightlife. It definitely smells like you've got a drink in hand. It smells like you're wearing a leather jacket. There is definitely a vibrant city nightlife vibe going on with this fragrance here. The leather note although it is in the center of this fragrance, it is a suede, polished, smooth leather. This isn't dusty, this isn't animalic, this doesn't smell like you were just at the tannery. The raspberry warms this fragrance up completely. The leather is not warm at all. It's almost a cool leather, but then that raspberry note in the top definitely warms up the fragrance. Like I said, it gives it sort of a pulsing energy. I guess it's unique in the sense that it feels like it's got darkness and light colliding at the same time, and I suppose that's exactly what he was going for with sort of, if you think about it, sort of a nightclub and the lights and the strobe lights and the fruitiness of that cocktail. I don't know what it is. Why include the fruitiness of the raspberry cocktail? This must be, like I said at the beginning, this is a specific moment that Crivelli remembers. He was drinking that raspberry cocktail and that note did something for him that prompted him to create this fragrance. This fragrance, if you like long-lasting, standout fragrances, this is definitely going to be your jam. This is going to be on your skin forever and everybody is going to smell it. Much more wearable than some of the other fragrances in the lineup. I definitely want to test some of the other fragrances. I want to go back to them. Maybe I wasn't ready for the house when I first started smelling them, but I'm glad I chose this one as my first one. I don't remember exactly what this cost, but I'm going to put it right here after I start editing it. It's not a cheap fragrance, but for what you get and the longevity of the fragrance and how much you need to spray on you, this bottle will pretty much last you forever. Unless you want to be a complete beast and have everybody smell it around you and you spray yourself 5 or 6 times, this should last you a really long time. I like what Crivelli does. I like that he goes for those specific moments in time. If you look at the images on his Instagram and you see those specific moments of time when he was in a spice market or if he was on a safari, you sort of get the same idea that what he does with the fragrances. Whatever it is, it lodged in his mind and it compelled him to make this fragrance. All right, that was my 2 cents on Maison Crivelli Cuir Infrarouge. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like any of the other fragrances from this house, definitely leave me a comment. Let me know which ones you like. As I said, I really, really like Saffron Secret, and I'm not a huge fan of saffron, but I do think that as far as the saffron note goes, Crivelli does it the most successfully. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribing, and I can't wait to see you next episode.